I was actually Googling some photographs of Jack the Ripper victims. It's not important why, don't worry about that. I actually came across this image, a little bit disturbing, I'll be honest. But this is actually the discovery of one of the victims of Jack the Ripper by the Metropolitan Police of London. But what interested me about this, apart from the fact that it looks like he's pepper spraying her, which is pretty unnecessary, what interested me is that this is not a photograph, even though photographs existed in the Victorian times. This is actually an etching. So someone sat, that's a very detailed way to do an image, but someone sat and actually sat for probably about 3 days and carved this out in a piece of wood. And that's an awfully grim image to spend 3 days of your life working on. So I was a bit curious about the source of this, and I looked it up, and it actually comes from a newspaper from the Victorian times called the Illustrated Police News. And this is fascinating. What happens was, there was a lot of illiteracy in Victorian England, and so what they would do was, almost like a comic book, the newspaper people would publish a version of their paper with all the latest crimes, but it was only in pictures, all right? And this is what it looks like here. So, you know, you've got sort of all these, you know, pictures happening. Here's a sort of a riot at a zoo. Don't know if you can see that. Here's before and after of a woman who's been bloodied, let's face it. And this sold huge amounts of every issue. It sold so much. It was so popular. Just for those people who couldn't actually read the news, they just wanted to look at the pictures. And I'll be honest, guys, it really inspired me. And as so many things do, it inspired me to song. So, yeah, I'm going through a bit of a synth pop phase right now. Oh, that's okay. There we go. So here's my thoughts about this newspaper. There's a magazine that's been around since 1864. For 70 years it covered every crime. And though the paper closed its doors in 1938, it tells us all so much about this time. Because those Victorians, they loved their grisly murders, and they'd not yet by cable news been swamped. So they just got a guy to think and draw what a crime might look like. And now we can see an orphan getting stomped. And when the skeleton bit the man on his finger, the Illustrated Police News was there, you'd best believe. 'Cause when two nuns have a duel, well, the public should be notified of all the grossest acts man can achieve. So let's hear it for the IPN, and may that paper rise again to show us things our minds cannot conceive. Like, for example, what it looks like when a woman gets kidnapped by a gorilla. That's what it looks like. And by the way, check out the gorilla. Oh, he's happy about that, isn't he? He's made the front page. He knows it. But that's not all. You can learn so much about the Victorian period. Let me talk you through a few other incidents. So watch these children get severely flogged. And see the police, for some reason, holding them down. And this woman died because she laced her corset up too tight. And also because she hired death to be her maid. A little bit naive. And this guy sent his wife insane by tickling her feet too much. But in his defense, he does have good taste, because look, he's dressed in a lovely tuxedo. It's a horrible crime, but he's got class. And I think that's what's missing from all of this. You know, I think it's not just the, you know, obviously now our serial killers are not so much gentlemen, but I think the reporting has really gone downhill. What I want to see, next time there's a big scandal, a big crime, and I go to the newspaper stand, I don't want to see a photograph of an empty crime scene. No, I want to see a lovingly drawn picture of the crime actually taking place. Right? And if possible, perhaps I'd like to see a cartoon devil behind the murderer while he's actually doing the crime. But most of all, the thing that I want to see is that picture of when the skeleton bit the man on his finger, and the illustrated Ollie's news was there, you best believe. Cause when a boy fights an owl, well, the public should be notified of all the grossest acts man can achieve. So let's hear it for the IPN. May that paper rise again to show us things our minds cannot conceive. Like what it looks like when a man murders his wife by shutting her head in a box. In a box. For the Illustrated Police News, everybody. Let's hear that applause.